Hey guys, this is Bus, developer of the Athena mod. I got a few requests to go ahead and create a video demonstrating how to export a map from ARMA3 and how to import it into Athena and get it working. So figured it's a good time to go ahead and create that video. So the instructions I'm going to follow are available at the Athena mod website. If you go to Athena mod, and then you click on instructions and scroll down, here's how to create your own map export, here's how to import it, and here's how to generate the locations file, so like the city names and stuff like that show up. So you can get all this stuff at the website, though there is a slight mistake here. This should all be lowercase. So sorry about that for people that try to follow the instructions, but we're going to go ahead and go through this in video form, and we're going to see if we can get this working for you guys. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and find your ARMA3 executable, okay? So that's going to be in your program file /steam apps common ARMA3. So then once you find your ARMA3 executable, go ahead and right click on it and run as administrator. It's important to run as administrator because something that we're going to do is going to require access to the C drive. So this, we're going to eventually create this file here, but I'm going to delete it for now. Yep. Okay, so let's wait for ARMA3 to fire up. Okay, so it's finally up, and let's see if we have the Athena mod running here. So I'm going to go and check the expansions, and it is running. Okay, good. So, oh no, cancel that. So we're going to go ahead and go in the editor, and go ahead and select whichever map you want to export. I'm going to select United Surrounding, and click continue. Okay, so now we're in the good old ARMA3 editor. So once we're in here, we don't have to do anything right now. Just go ahead and press and hold Shift on your keyboard, and then the numpad minus. Okay? And then what you want to type in is all one word, all lowercase, export no grid. Okay? Now what that's going to do is that it activates a subroutine in ARMA3 that then takes all this mapping data, minus the grid, because it's export no grid, right? So it's going to take all this data, and it's going to export it to an EMF file, which is going to be created in the root of your C drive. Okay, that's why we needed to run it as administrator, because in order to access this location, you have to be an administrator by default. So once we have this, we're clear to go on to the next step, which is to get the location data, which is these names around the cities and around the bays and all that stuff. So to do that, we're going to have to actually put a unit on the street, and then go ahead and preview the mission. Okay, now once we're in the game, go ahead and hit escape, and then you want to go ahead and type this all in. So actually, I don't even think you need that. So you want to type in call space ATH underscore FNC underscore export underscore LOCS semicolon. I know this sucks. I know it sucks to type it in, but for right now, that's the way to do it. So go ahead and type that in, then click local exec. Now what that's going to do, what it should do, is it should in your Athena folder, which by default is in your My Documents, it should create a file called locations.json. Okay. Now this location.json is going to eventually be used once we import the map. So note where you keep this. By default, it's going to be in your Documents, Athena data folder. I myself mapped my Athena to a different folder because I share that data location with another computer, which then I run the Athena app on. So I have 3 monitors. I play Arma across all 3, and then I put my Surface Pro 3 in front of me, and I have that run Athena. So that's just a way to get it to work on multiple computers. So more than likely, it's going to be in your My Documents /Athena/data locations.json right there. Okay. So once we have that, let's go ahead and exit out of Arma. I'm just gonna shortcut. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my C drive. I'm gonna grab this EMF file. Now what we're gonna need next is we're going to need this thing called EMFtoPNG. It's available on the AthenaMod.com website under the instructions.aspx. I don't know if I have permission to redistribute this. I don't know who made it. I could probably just right click on the file and find out. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I have no idea where it came from. I have no idea if this is a public thing, who made it, whatever. I have no idea if I have rights to distribute it, but whatever. It's posted on the AthenaMod.com website. So you go to the instructions page, you can go ahead and just click on this, and you'll download it. I've already downloaded it, and I've got it here on my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these instructions. And I'm going to grab this EMF file. I'm going to move it over here to the desktop. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag this onto the EMFtoPNG.exe file. So that's going to launch the program, and it's going to automatically start converting this EMF into a PNG file, which is the format that we're going to use with Athena. So we'll wait for this to go, and this is going to take a variable amount of time, and it depends on the size of the actual file. Altus for me took like a while. It took like I want to say like 15 minutes. So this is a 50 megabyte file. It shouldn't take too long, but if you go ahead and go into your task manager, you can actually see that it's actually doing something. You can see that it's taking some memory. Almost a gig and a half, gig and a quarter if you want to be precise. You can see that it's actively busy, and what it's doing is, like I said, it's taking this EMF file, which is a raw dump basically from Arma, and it's going to convert it into an image file, which we're going to use with Athena. So, okay, so that finished up. So now what we have now is we have a PNG file, which you can open in any image editor. I'm going to open it up in Windows Photo Viewer here. And boom. There we go. So you can see that we have, a decent image. You can zoom in pretty far before it starts to get pixelated and look ugly, So we have that. Okay. You can pan, zoom, you can do whatever you want to do with it. It's a regular image. So we're going to go ahead and close this. Now, one thing I want, everybody to take note of here is, let's take a look at the properties, details. So, okay, so we see that the width and the height of this is 2481. Okay. Now, what is the likelihood that Arma has a map that is, 20,481 meters? It's more than likely 2480 by 2480. They don't have any 2481.3s or anything like that. So what happens is that there's an extra pixel on both, the X and the Y axis on here. Now I'm going to try and open this in my favorite editor program, which is not Notepad++, but which is Paint.net. Let's see if this is an option here. Yep, Paint.net. And I want to see if I can find these extra pixels that I'm not going to want. Oh, there they are. Boom. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I don't want those extra black pixels. Those are going to drive me crazy. So I'm going to select this one here, and I'm going to drag all the way to the top left. Now, there's probably a more efficient way to do this, but, I don't really care. So let's get it all the way up to the top left. I'm going to select every pixel but those ones, okay? And then, I've got them all selected. So I've selected all the way from, the bottom right, dragged all the way to the top left, and I'm going to crop to selection. So I'm really just trimming off that extra row and column of pixels that I don't want. So I should end up with, and we're going to confirm it down here, an image that's 2480 by 2480. And I'm going to make a note of that for later, because it's important to know what the dimensions are. Okay? It's also important to know the name of the map. So it was United Serrani in Arma 3, but as you can see, it exported as this, Sarah DBE, 1. Okay, so that's what it exported as. I don't know if it's actually DBE1 or DBE, but I'm going to go with DBE1. Okay, so the map name is actually Sarah_DBE1, and the map size, height, and width is 2480. Okay, so make note of that because you're going to need it. Whether if it was Altus, I think it would just be Altus. If it was Stratus, I think it would just be Stratus. I think Chernarus was Chernarus. Zargabad was Zargabad. But, pay attention to these names. Obviously without the underscore no grid, we're going to leave that off. But the Sarah_DBE1, that's the actual, internal name for the map that Arma 3 recognizes. And it's going to be important later on. So make note of that. Okay? So we're going to save the changes in the image. Sure, whatever. Now, another thing I'd like to point out, I don't know if anybody's going to use this, but I'll wait until this, this image is done here. But I always thought it would be kind of a neat idea, since we're really just, Athena's really no more than an ARMA 3 oriented image viewer, well, and it populates some data in real time too. But I thought it'd be interesting. I don't know if anybody's going to do this or not, but we're basically messing around with images at this point. We're looking at an image of United Serrani, and God, please come on, hurry up, finish. I'm tired of waiting. I'm recording a video. This is very important. Okay, so we're basically looking, at an image of United Serrani. I always thought it would be kind of cool. I don't know if anybody's going to do this or not, but I almost kind of like the idea of if you're going to be playing a mission with your group, and I don't know if there's any advantage to this over using markers or what, but to actually, actually create stuff like this, zone 1, obviously you want the font to be a little bit bigger there. Zone 1, whatever, stuff like that, where you can mark up the image with predefined imagery and then have everybody in your group that runs Athena import it into their Athena. That way they already have the markup in the image. I don't know if anybody's going to ever want to do that. I don't know if there's a reason to do it outside of the marker system in Arma, but it's just, kind of a funny idea that occurred to me, and maybe there's some other use for this that I didn't think of that's possible, but, just something that's out there, just a little side thing for people to think about. So we can go ahead and get rid of this. We're already done because we've got this, which is what we're going to need. Now, once we're done with that, we go ahead and go into Athena. Okay? So once we're in Athena, we go into File, Import Map. The map name, now this is just what we call it, I think. The name of the map in Arma as returned by the world name command. Okay, so no, this is actually this right here. So Sarah DBE1. The map image, we're going to go ahead and browse to our PNG file that we just created. The map, sorry, there's a little interruption there. So we typed in the map name, which is Sarah_DBE1, okay, and we selected the image here, okay, and then we typed in the map name, or I'm sorry, the map height, which was 2480, and 2480 again for the width. We're going to hit OK. Now this is going to bring up a flaky little, status import bar kind of thing, progress bar. If this thing loses focus for whatever reason, or if it gets too bound down in the actual import process, this is going to flake out. Don't really worry about it. Just let it do its thing. It'll eventually update, or it'll error out, and you'll know about it. One way to know if it's actually working is to go into your My Documents, Athena, Maps, and then open up the folder for the map that you just created, or you just started importing. Now, you can see how the counter is going up here. It's creating more and more items in here. By the time it's done, it should be 101 items. There'll be, what it's doing is it's taking this image that we created, it's breaking it into 100 chunks, and it's going to create like an index file kind of, or a lookup file. So it's going to be the 101st file in there. So yeah, this map.txt. Okay, and that really just contains this rough data here. So that way you can, share folders with people without having to go through the import all on your own. Okay, so now at this point, so we've got this data here. We've imported the map. Theoretically, I can go into Athena right now, go to Controls, View Map, Sarah DB1, and there she is. It's imported into Athena. It's pretty, it's not ultra high resolution, but it's pretty good, okay? And you can zoom in, you got good detail here, you definitely get the gist of it. Now, what's missing? The city names, okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to, load up a different map, because I haven't implemented any sort of a refresh function. And we're going to go back to the Athena output that we created, this locations.json. Now, for me, it's in my C Athena folder. For you guys, it's probably in your Documents, Athena, Data folder, okay? But for me, it's in my C Athena folder, okay? So you're going to go and grab this and move it over here. Okay, so you're going to put your locations.json file in your map folder, okay? Now, if I go back to Athena here, and I go to View Map, SarahDB1, there they are. There's all the names of the different locations. Okay, and it knows, obviously, this one's a water one. It knows this one's a town one. It doesn't discriminate between like mountains or anything like that. I didn't think that was all that important. I did want to display a little, you know, the up arrows. So I mean, that's pretty much the majority of stuff, and that's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and, you know, move Athena over here, and let's pull back up Arma 3. Oh, I gotta find the damn thing again. Give me 1 second here. I don't need any administrator, so I can just run as administrator now. I'm new to making videos, by the way. Now these underscores in the map name might throw Athena for a loop, but let's see. Okay, let's go play. Sorry, editor. Unite surrounding. Let's put a guy over here, and let's preview. Let's escape out of here. I'm going to hit start. And there we go. Notice, I don't know if you can see in the video, but like my guy right now is facing north, so there's a little line up here that indicates what direction he's facing. So if I hit continue here and I turn, the line moves to indicate which way I'm facing. Just kind of a small thing that I thought was kind of cool. What else is there? So that's pretty much it. So I mean, if I abort this and I load up a different, you know, map, let's say one I've got imported already, which would probably be, I know I've got Zargabad imported. Let me throw a guy over here. Preview. Athena should automatically pick up once I start running the map and switch to Zargabad, and it did. Even before the mission was loaded. Now let me switch again to Serrani just to make sure that it switches properly. Yeah, it's Serrani, new mission. Let's throw my guy on an airfield. I like airfields. Yeah, there we go, airfield, cool. And boom. So, there we go. That's how it knows. You know, it picks up on the name when we imported the correct name. And you can see it's got the position pretty well too. I mean, there we are over here. And if we look there, see we're roughly in the same location as far as in Athena versus in game. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Die, butterfly. Alright, well, that's the video. Let's see, anything else we should go over? Okay, well, the reason for it splitting into 100 chunks here is just because, you know, Athena, with my limited development skills here, as far as, you know, desktop applications, or, you know, this basically a Silverlight foundation, was that the images, you know, one giant image was just taking up way too much video memory. The actual underlying framework was loading the images into video memory so it could be, you know, rendered faster, and that was just causing some performance issues for some users. So my solution was to break up the images into 100 chunks, and then as you scroll around, it loads and unloads the chunks from disk into memory, and from, you know, it just wipes them from memory when they're not in view. So you'll see if you're Like here's Athena. Whoop. Yeah, let's go to name. And there's Athena. Now if I should see the memory going down. Let's see. Yeah. So the memory goes down, you zoom in. You see the processor is kicking up because we're loading stuff from disk. And it's still in start mode, so it's communicating with Arma. Actually, it's just reading the text file that gets generated from Arma and dumped, and it's updating the map. But you can see if you zoom out, it's going to take up more memory. So that was the reason why there's all those 100 different chunks, because I had contention issues loading the different chunks of the image into Athena quickly, and I wanted to do it in a way that was going to be fast and responsive, and where you could scroll around pretty easily, and where it wasn't so herky-jerky. So it was just all performance reasons. That's why I broke it into chunks of 100. But yeah, so that's how to import a map and how to import the locations for a map so that we have all the text for the different towns or anything like that. So yeah. There you go. Thanks for watching, guys.